Hi guys, welcome back to the Ratchet Christian. I feel like I've been away for a while. Like I haven't done like an episode in like 2 or 3 weeks, so y'all forgive me. But we are back, and we're not just back, but we're back with some very, very special guests. These two guys are friends of mine. They are amazing comics. They have a lot of things just in the works that y'all are eventually going to see and know and love. And so I'm gonna introduce our first guest, who is Luke Kang. Woo! Bah, 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 bah. There's like little clap marks. You can't hear it, but they're there. Thank you, Luke,
That's
for
enough.
coming. And then our second honorable guest is Sean Connor. Woo! Yeah! I feel like I didn't say as many nice things about you as I did about Luke.
What's up, Ash?
I'm not playing favoritism, but it's like you're one of the hardest working comics I know. You're consistent,
That's
and you're
facts.
also
This is like a blast from
very
the past.
I
Yeah.
know.
Like a full circle moment.
It really is. You know, you two were the first people to ever put me on a podcast.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
awesome.
Y'all two's podcast was the first one I've ever been on. Y'all were filming at the Comedy Chateau.
Mhm.
And it was just like the coolest experience that I've,
You
ever
feel
been
like
a
you
part
made
of.
it, huh?
I did feel like I
Yeah,
made
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And now I feel like I
Love
made it
that.
even more because I
Yeah.
have my own.
Exactly.
Right. Now I feel like I made
Yeah,
it.
now I feel like I'm the boss. How does it feel to be on the hot seat?
Yeah, right.
But
It feels good.
it feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good to be a guest. How did y'all even get started with that podcast at the Comedy Chateau? And what happened to it?
We our
Life happened.
our lease went up, dude.
Right,
Our
right.
lease ended, and that was it, bro. Couldn't find a new spot.
Yeah.
How did we get started? I think we
The
had
Pink
a podcast during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So 2020, when everybody was indoors,
Mhm.
we were in a garage taping with a group of guys that it wasn't the most cohesive situation. All right, everybody had more ego than they had talent, and me included.
That sounds
And-
like
and-
comics.
and,
That sounds like us.
We couldn't get it together. But then me and Lou was like, hey, maybe we could put some of the ego aside
Mhm.
and try to develop a talent. And so we bounced around. And Lou was the steer front for that, I would say.
Mm.
It feels like spaghetti on the wall. It's kind of like you just throw it on the wall and see what sticks.
Mhm.
And man, dude, honestly, like it's been like now 3 podcasts that
Did
I'm
3
like,
podcasts later.
that I'm just like these could make it.
Wait, what was the second one? Because what was the name of the first one that y'all had me on?
We had so it was Luke Kang kicking it.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, Luke Kang
Yeah,
kicking
that
it.
was
And
Luke
then
Kang
I don't
kicking
know what the second one was, but I know you have a third one now that is Age Gap Pod. Was there one in between that, or you're doing a whole nother one?
Yeah, we did. So the one that he's talking about, we
Mhm.
did the ensemble podcast. It was Pink House podcast, and it was a
Mhm.
whole group of people.
Mhm.
Which another one could have made it, but could have made it, dude. But things happen.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then you've been having Age Gap with your co-host now going on like 2 years. You also had me as a guest on that. And
Yep.
so how's that going?
We're on hiatus. We could have made it, dude. We could have made it.
No,
We could have
way.
fucking made it, bro.
Come on.
Damn it, dude. Damn it.
Fourth
That's
time's the
not what I
charm.
was
Fourth time's the
expecting.
charm.
Damn.
That's why we're here.
Right.
Now, okay?
Is this a
We're getting the
pinch?
band back together, all right?
I would be 100% down for that because I remember when I was thinking about starting my own podcast like 2 years ago, the first person that I reached out to was you because I know
Yeah.
you've done like a million podcasts. You produce podcasts. Like you can do everything that a podcast needs independently.
Yeah.
You've done it so many times. And so I reached out to you and I was like, where do I begin? What type of equipment should I get? And you literally sent me like a whole list of stuff. Like you
Mhm.
were so generous with the knowledge that you had. And I was like, maybe you and I can be a co-host. But you had just started your podcast, with the other guy
new
at the
one,
time.
yeah.
The other one.
The third
The
iteration.
third one.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I could produce it for you, but I'm going to be a host on the other one. And so you really have helped me a lot on my podcast journey. Like,
That's
for
good,
real.
man. I'm glad.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, man. That's really every opportunity I've gotten
Mm.
so far in comedy or podcast or anything like that has come just from generosity.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of just if there's one thing to take away from like anything is just if it don't cost you, bro, give it out for free, man. You know what I mean? Because that's just now think about it. Now you have me on your podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So
And
that
I
keeps it
applaud
straight.
both of y'all because, like, you was
Yeah.
like, all right, anybody can get the list of information to get, but you
Mm-hmm.
actually was like, nah, I'm gonna do that shit. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I mean, I respect that.
I
Right.
appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Hell yeah.
Well, I feel like we've collaborated a good amount of times too. We're gonna get into later another project that we worked on together, the animation thing that you did. But you guys are always doing something. You're always doing something.
And we're always cooking
You're
something
always
up, huh?
cooking
Yeah,
something.
man.
You're always
Yeah,
throwing
man.
spaghetti up on the wall. And I feel like we're all at that part in our career as comedians where it's like I feel like this is the point where people who've been doing it for a couple of years like walk away or like move to their hometown. We're getting into our mid-30s. People are like, or at least I am, or I think this is the point where people are like, either this is going to work or I'm going to go to law school. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's like with the people that I kind of like our cohort in comedians, I just see us, all of us like really just like digging in more and like
Yeah.
standing our ground and be like, no, we're going to make it. And I'm like, damn, I think we're going to make it. Yeah, like I'm really starting to feel like that. Like,
I've taken the 50 Cent approach.
Yeah.
In my life.
Yeah.
We're gonna fucking do
Get
it or we're
rich
gonna
or
die, bro. Or we're dying.
Facts. But I feel like the way that I see it, I'm like, the time's gonna go by regardless. Like whether I do the work or not, the
Right.
time's gonna go by. And why would I spend my life building something that I know I don't want to do forever when I
Right.
could just spend that time building something that I know that I could do for the rest of my life? You know?
Yeah.
I'm glad I started like in my 20s, early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, like, I feel like I have some lived experience, but also I see comedians that start later that
Mhm.
like still kind of feel like they need to be on the scene or
Mhm.
or are still trying to find a lane.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I got to basically mess around and mess up in my 20s when
Yeah.
it was like low stakes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
facts.
And now that I kind of have a routine that has gotten me some success, I'm like, oh, word. I'm glad that I'm just getting my first gray hairs and I don't got a beard full of them while I'm, you know what I mean? While I'm
Right.
going through the mess ups.
Also, some people experience the life but don't learn the tools to express it.
Yeah.
So as you're going through life
Have y'all always
and
been this
learning
deep? Y'all are deep.
yeah. Since I was 8, just fucking spacing out in second grade, bro, having existential crisis.
Yeah.
No, but having the lived experience and the tools to share it, it's like you just cut out like 10 years.
And
You
yo,
knock
I
10 years
started
off
at
the
23. I'm 33, and I've been saying this like, I feel like I just learned how to walk.
Right.
Where it's like now I don't really have any reservations or like too many inhibitions on stage. It's more so this is what I get now on the road, and it's humbling. Like you have a good show, the people they line up to take pictures with you or shake hands, whatever they want to follow you. And it's like, wow, you are really good, or you are my favorite. And the second question is always, how long you been doing this? And I'll be like, 10 years.
A third
and
of my life.
And then
When you
then I
say
see
it.
their disappointment. They be like, oh,
Yeah.
why are you not famous? And I'll be like, I just got good.
Yeah.
Give it 6 months, bro. Give it 6 months.
Facts. Dang. Yeah. When you like say, so as I was up last night, trying to get videos and put everything together for the show, I was trying to find videos from the roast that we did. And I just started going down like my profile and, kind of like trolling myself and just seeing like,
That's nice.
just like going
to see the growth.
It was nice, yeah, to see the growth and seeing like some
I remember
of my
I was
old
hype
jokes.
about this.
And or even I was like, why would I even say that? But I used to be so brash. Like I would just like, and not to
Really?
say that I'm not still brash, but it's like when it came to like dragging white people in my comedy, I did it like very unashamedly. I would
It's-
get straight to it 30 seconds in.
It's a nice secret weapon to have in your pocket.
It's nice when but it's like salt. You don't want to do it too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it has to be sprinkled in and it has to make sense and it has to be like actually funny,
Well, so there was like a 5-year period from like 2015 to 2020 where like dragging white people was
Yeah.
like
The thing
it was
to do.
it was like the being a hot girl
Yeah.
Twitch stream thing to do, where if you did it, you would get praised for it immediately. I remember when that was coming to an end, when I saw this girl, she did a whole set on white people.
You can't do it.
And she did it. She did a joke, and I remember the crowd being like this bitch is hateful, bro.
Yeah.
And
Like, where's
I was
the
like,
funny
oh
part?
shit, it's over, bro. That's it.
Yeah.
That trick has been done. You
Yeah.
press square too many times,
Mhm.
doesn't work anymore.
And
It's a
it's
Mortal
like
Kombat
just
reference.
the dead face too. People aren't even like clamoring to try to figure out how to, give you like a little giggle about it,
I feel that.
Yeah. So
They were like, did she Does she actually like?
Does she
is she a
believe
hater?
this?
Like
Right.
a real
I
hater?
think she actually just like hates these people.
Yeah.
But just, also just seeing how many times I used to go up a week and like really was just going after it. And I feel like at the same pace that y'all was, because everywhere I was, y'all was. And
Right.
so
Right.
just to see those same people is great. So I moved down to Long Beach like 6 months ago. I'm starting to like, trying to figure out the comedy scenes out here.
The scene.
I've been like getting out more. I started my own mic with my husband not too far from here. And
That's what it's called, or not?
no, yeah, that's the name of it.
Not too far from here. Every
The
Monday.
the mic is called Better Be Funny Mic because I'm one of those comics. I'm like, you can say whatever it is that you want, but it better be funny. I hate going to mics that start with rules, ground rules. You can't talk about this. You can't talk about that. And whenever I say that, I feel like such a pick me. But it's like I'm a comics comic. Like I don't want there to be.
You
things.
run a mic with your husband?
I do.
Can we get into that?
Of course.
That's a dynamic.
Yeah.
That's I don't know what is that, a workplace relationship?
Yeah, it is.
I think it kind of is. We're coworkers.
I didn't even know your husband did comedy.
You know what? A lot of people didn't, but
Okay.
he's done like a few open mics. We did a show down here, and he went up for the first time. He
Nice.
performed, and just within this month, he got booked for another show.
Okay.
So now, like, my husband's a comic.
That's what's
Okay.
up.
Yeah, but he's also like an engineer. So I'm like, please keep doing that too.
That's what me and Sean were saying downstairs.
I'm like, please keep.
We're like, now nobody's gonna pay bills.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, somebody's got to pay these bills, honey. Like, you're doing good, you're killing it, but let's one at a time.
Yeah.
One at a time.
We alternate working Saturdays.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But he's genuinely funny, and I'm enjoying him, like, because it's like new for him, and all the things that I like experienced like a while ago to like just be like beside him as he's
Relive it?
experienced. Yeah, to relive it. Like I'm actually really like
I
enjoying
think
it.
that can be really fun, like lessons that you may have already learned or hurdles that you got over.
Mhm.
To see someone else face them and like overcome them,
Mhm.
you kind of learn a new lesson.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you guys don't have kids soon, but I like sometimes seeing my son do shit, I'm like, yo, I used to get mad at the same thing, dog.
Yeah.
You cool? It's all right. It's gonna work out. Yeah,
I feel that.
I think watching my husband do comedy has shown me that I've kind of gotten jaded. Like this is like my 6th year in, and I didn't realize that I was a little bitter from the experience of it all. Like I feel like.
Hey, give him a year or two.
Yeah, I'm like, and then he'll be like a real seasoned comic.
Yeah.
He like hates people, hates the game.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? He'll have some grit to him. He'll get up there and not care about the audience.
Everyone is very promising for the first 6 months.
That's true.
For the first 6 months,
twinkle in the eye.
people still come to your show.
Yes,
they want
they
to see if you're
do.
funny or not.
You're
They'll buy a
right.
ticket.
Yeah.
All your coworkers still like you, you know.
You could do a 10-person bringer and 10 people will come.
Yeah, they'll show up.
Oh man.
When you're a new comic, it's so it's dope. And so
Matter of fact, I'm gonna quit. this
Yeah,
year. I'm gonna
start-
quit and I'm gonna start up
start
again
over.
next year. Yeah, next
when
year.
you hit your 10 years, start over again.
Yep.
You get to be a new comic all over again. And so it's really nice to just be there in his journey, because I told him like the things that it took me like 2 years to accomplish. So he did his first show last month, and then he got booked for another show this month, and he's getting paid. And I was like, babe, it took me 2-3 years to make money, and you're already like making money a month in, and he's like,
well, if you do my show, you'll get paid as well.
See? But now you're doing shows where you can pay your comics, and so
Right.
the growth is there, and it's just nice to like see him like be going through that process and get to be there by his side, and it's a little bit of nepotism, you know what
It's
I
all
mean?
good. Look, I'll book
It's a
you
little bit of
first.
nepotism, you know
Okay.
what I mean?
All right.
I'll book you
Okay.
first, and then I'll give it a year, and
Yeah.
then I'll book, and then
Yeah.
then I'll book
Yeah.
your husband.
Yeah.
Be like, I don't know, not yet. I don't know.
It's gonna take some time, you know what I mean?
She's been
Gotta
doing
wait
it for a
around.
while now, so
This is, I think, my 6th or 7th year in comedy. It's my 6th, and then I'm going on. Yeah, no, I think it's my 6th, and next year will be 7. But the time is going, and sometimes you don't realize that you're making progress until you like stop and like think about it or look back, or even just sitting here
Right.
with you guys. I'm like, damn, like
Mhm.
I'm proud of y'all. Like y'all are like really like just killing it and being
Thank you.
consistent and just like humble and quiet about it. You're not loud, but I was on y'all's pages last night, just trying to make sure that I'm afreshed, about what you guys currently have going on. I'm like, yeah, okay, my guys are still in it.
you have no idea how much we needed that right
I
now.
know.
Yeah, no, I know.
I
I'm a comic too. I know. Sometimes you need to have people tell you that they're proud of you and that they see what you're doing, because it's like, well, we don't realize this. You want to know what I learned this week? comics that are coming from LA, like we're doing things at such a high caliber
Mm.
that we don't realize that it's high caliber until we go to other places.
Dog,
right.
dog.
I went to San
Sean can
Diego.
talk about
Dog.
that, yeah.
I went to San Diego.
That's like been this 6 months of this year, because like I signed a deal with the Keenan Presents people, so like they've been having me go around the country, and the appreciation that you
Congratulations, by the way.
I appreciate that, but the appreciation, like you just said, you be in LA, you be at Mike's, you be with other comedians, and I like to call it magic for magicians. It's like, all right, we know this trick, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm still working on the trick, like, you know what I mean? And then you go to maybe Bakersfield, like you don't even have to go out of California, but you just go to some B city or some C city.
I went to San Diego.
And the people be like, yo, thank you for being funny.
Yeah.
Like, we appreciate this. Not even they appreciate it. They kind of want to take you out to their local watering hole and be like, hey, come see our city. So the next time you come, you got more shit to talk about.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh man, for that one night for them, because they may not get to see a Dave Chappelle or Kevin Hart, you're that for them.
Yeah.
And like, I like to treat it like that. Any city I go to, I got a routine to where like, I try to go to an aquarium or a museum. I try to ride the bus in that city because I want to see how those people are, and
that's dope, right?
And it helps me prepare for the show.
Material, yeah.
Like so they don't feel like when I go out there and do crowd work that I'm just doing some shtick that I do everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's it. I think you said it so well, and it's like we don't realize how many talented people that we're surrounded with. You know, we grew
I
up
feel
with
like
these
Long
guys
Beach's scene is different too.
It's very different in that I've gone up and gotten out to the first open mics just this week. Like I went to a mic Wednesday, Thursday, and then I went to San Diego and was supposed to do a show that fell through. I ended up doing a mic, and you know, this no shade to those people, but I went to 3 separate things on 3 separate days, and I was just like, this is not LA, bro. Like I'm at the point in my career where it's not satisfying for me to be the funniest person in the room.
You're like, I'm not even insecure right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it used to feel nice to be the funniest person in the room, but when I'm the funniest person in the room, I'm just like, I'm in the wrong room and I'm not getting better. Like, it makes me like angry, and I feel like,
you don't want to go up against cupcakes. I feel.
No, I don't. And it's like there's people who are new and they're like, you know, like learning and all that stuff. But it's like, I want to be challenged. I want to continue to grow. I don't want to be at a mic with 20 other people who are on there. And then after they perform, they leave. It's even just the etiquette of like people will do their set and then just walk out. And it's like, unless I have a show, I'm not going to leave. But I feel like the shows and mics in LA, like there was an understanding, like have some level of respect for the craft, for other comedians. And also I just feel like the industry itself, or the mics down here from what I've experienced, just kind of cannibalize themselves on the comics. Buy a drink, do this. I have spent so much money just trying to go up, dude.
Can I preach for a second?
Can you please?
All right. So look, this is actually I'm on my podcast run right now. I'm trying to book as many podcasts as I can. Tired of building my own platform just so I can talk about shit. I'm going on other people's shows now, all right? If you know anybody else with a podcast, let me know. But basically, I started a comedy show. This is next Saturday. I don't know when this is coming out, but June 14th is going to be the 3rd one. Sean was on the 1st. Basically, the reason I started it was because there needs to be somebody who does shit right so that other comics can go on the show and be like, well, I was on a show, I got paid, I didn't have to buy 30 fucking drinks, there was not 100 comics on the lineup, and it wasn't a bringer, I didn't have to subject my close friends and family to a shitty show. Yeah. Because I did it out of anger.
Yeah.
Right?
The best stuff is made out of anger, though, honestly.
Spite has been my number one fucking
bitterness
tool.
Is the key to, like, you know.
It really is.
A little grit.
It really is. And so after this, I think it was the 3rd time I got booked for a show. My dumbass actually tried to get people to the show. I had a friend. They got a babysitter. They drove an hour and they were going to spend money. They bought tickets. Yeah. And the show got canceled 30 minutes before. Stop. Because none of the other comics did it, like brought people. Yeah, yeah. But it's not the comics' job. Yeah. To get people out here.
You're producing a show. You know what I mean?
You want the spotlight. You want the so-and-so presents. Yeah. Well, then fucking present, motherfucker,
Yeah,
dude. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I'm doing my show,
I feel
and
you.
that's why.
Is there a clap
please
button?
buy tickets.
Where's the clap button? Can we get a little foghorn or something at that point?
foghorn?
Like, cause yeah,
But yeah, man, like I literally just I want to be a spot that people want to be on,
yeah,
and an audience wants to go to.
yeah.
Because why are we holding motherfuckers hostage?
Like for real. The 10 comics in, it's not even a good show at that point because the audience is fatigued. Like people are leaving. It's just like it's what you said is like about caring about the quality of the production. If you're producing a show, produce a show.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so for me, somebody offered me an opportunity to produce a show. I said no because I know I don't love producing. You have so many people who don't love producing. You have to love it. You have to actually really pay attention to every detail. And I know that that's not one of my giftings. I love to perform. I like to be able to come and bring the energy. I'm going to show respect to my other comics, but worrying about everything else, I don't like to do that. So why am I going to do that and then not do it to the best of my ability?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. So I've been calling people out online.
As you should.
I've been
That's king behavior.
bro. Okay, because I've been going on threads, and
Yeah.
somehow my algorithm is just people complaining about comedy.
Yeah.
About doing comedy.
I don't think enough people are complaining about comedy. I don't think enough comics are complaining about comedy. And you know what? Like
they are. They just complain about the wrong shit.
well, then it does, if you're complaining about the wrong shit, it doesn't matter what you're complaining about.
right.
You have to like complain about the right things. And you guys are making me realize that I'm not crazy because this week I was pissed. Like I went to so many bad mics this week that I was like mad. And it made me feel like, dang, like, okay, this is the love of the game. Is these nights are like this that, you know, to keep you humble, to keep you grounded. But it's just
You only have so many of those.
you only have so many of those, especially when you feel like you've made some progress. Like I went to a mic in San Diego and it's just like, I don't want to say people just don't care. You know what I mean? To even just to lift your head up to look at the person who's on stage. Like I'm a comics comic. I love comedians. I feel like comedians are some of the best people I've ever met. And it's like, I care about what it is that you have to say. Yes, I'm going to work on my stuff, but I'm going to at least acknowledge that you're on stage. They didn't give a damn. And that's fine, you know what I mean? But just even the quality of the work that's being put up there, when you have 20 people on the list, you have rules. I went to a mic that was just like, very, very super liberal, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, I'm gonna talk my shit regardless. Y'all not gonna make me feel bad about being a Trump supporter. You're not gonna make me feel bad about being a Christian. And so I went up there, did all of that, said all of that. And this is a mic that is supposed to be a safe space, but it's like it's a safe space for people who think and agree like you.
Yeah.
Not for people who don't agree with you. So technically, then it's not a safe space. So don't brand it like that.
Also, if you can't defend your point against somebody who
That
has a
doesn't
different
think like
point,
you.
Yeah.
yeah, you don't actually believe that.
No, you
shit.
don't.
No, because I heard you guys like being the change you want to be in the
Absolutely,
world.
I'm a big believer.
And
in
I
that.
was like over here like, I'm the evil.
no.
I'm over here playing the game, putting the horse before the car. I'm like, hey, wait in line. Because like to hear you guys say this, like at the Comedy Chateau, I would go last on every single bringer show for a year straight.
No, but dude,
And I would bring one person with me, whatever girl I was dealing with at the time.
Yeah.
That's smart.
I would bring her with me, and you know, every week or every Friday and Saturday. And then finally, he was like, "Yo, man, you do good at the end of the show, just talking your shit. You want to host?" And then I host there for a year. And before I got banned, that
Not
experience, I did get banned because I talked about this on the Age Gap podcast.
yeah.
But one of the best advice that I got, because before one of Kevin Hart's specials, the one that he shot like in his living room, he worked out the material at the Comedy Chateau. And I got a chance to meet him, and I was like, yo, any advice? And he was just like, build a list. And the Comedy Chateau, every comedy club does this. You fill out the little cue cards with your phone number and your email. And every show I would do, I would take the cards from my show. And I had a list of about 5,000. And
Oh, dang.
Felix found out that I did this, and it's like stealing from the club, so I was banned. But
No
that
way.
experience, like, of hosting every week in front of, I would say, yes, it's a bringer audience,
Yeah.
but it's still a real comedy club audience.
right.
And it was like, it was almost a workout for me for a tester on those 15, 20 people shows. As I'm hosting, how long can I keep them engaged? How long can I be like, all right, we're in the thick of it now, but I still got y'all. Do y'all trust me?
Yeah, yeah.
And that helped me build that muscle to where, like, even when I got banned and then had to start doing the Sunset Rooftop, I was like, oh, well, this is just another hellhole. But like, I train in hell, so it is what it is.
I
You
like
can walk
those
people
rooms.
down the hallway,
Yeah.
trying to see how far you can get them down the hallway, as dark as it gets. Like, come on, let's go, let's
There's
go.
nothing like getting to the best part of your bed and then like an ambulance goes by,
Oh
or
my
like a fire
gosh.
truck goes by, or there's like, helicopters above.
Right.
We
don't
jumping
mind-
around, but a young Baka room.
We are okay. You know what? we can go to Bacchus. Y'all are so much more interesting than what I had listed on here. I was like, okay, we're gonna go into Epstein. We're gonna go into, but I'm like, I'd rather just like bitch about comedy. Like this is like
nice and
more.
cathartic.
It really is because I'm just like, I love people. Who, just have a love and passion for the game.
But
but-
before we go to that,
Uh-huh.
to finish that point, because like I feel a sense of pride in being like, okay, I worked to get into the clubs. Now, how many of my people can I get in there?
yeah.
Right.
And I hear what you're saying. Like, it is my job as the producer of the show to sell tickets. And so, like, I've had a 9 people show, and then I've had, 90 people. And it's nice to have 90 people.
Right.
But at the 9 people, I'm not necessarily blaming the comedians, but I'm like, hey, guys.
Can't just be me.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's more so like comedians. We just know comedians, so we'll invite comedians to come support us. But at Flappers specifically, because now they asked me at Flappers, hey, we want to have a black night. We want to compete with D-Rays Mondays.
Yeah,
We got to compete with Crack 'em Up Thursdays.
right. You're a black guy, so
So what can you do? So that's what got them to bring the Keenan Presents night over there. But like after that, they started giving me my own nights, and I asked I want every single night that Corey Holcomb has. So I wanted to see if I can go up against that, and they let me get 3 months in. But what I noticed is every comedian in town would show up to go to Corey's show, but they couldn't get in, or they couldn't get in his green room, so they would try to spill over to mine, but they wouldn't come to the show. They would just hang out in the green room, and I'd be like, nah, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, if
Go
you're
see
not
the
here
audience,
to...
do something.
Yeah, if you're here to
like, be
support, then
useful.
support. But
Yeah.
like, you can't just hang out and be like, yo, can I get some time? Like, you didn't even come for this just because you
Yeah.
can't get in there.
Yeah.
And I had to like set a standard or put my foot down a few times at that show. But now it's kind of like I have like a showrunner who helps me, and they handle
Nice.
that now. I'll be like, hey, man.
Motherfuckers are the worst too, bro. They come and shit on your shit.
Yes.
And then you kick them out and they go, oh, so it's like that, huh?
Yeah. He's feeling himself.
Oh,
now.
so we went North Hollywood on
Right.
everybody, huh?
But for those who, listeners who are not in LA and they may not be familiar with some of the clubs that you've listed, you're talking about some of the biggest clubs in LA. You're producing for Flappers. You're producing for, what used to be the Comedy Chateau. I don't know what it's like now, but it's like I don't feel like there's anything wrong with how it is that you do it because you have a respect for the craft. Whether it's a 9-person crowd or a 90-person crowd, I feel like you give the same effort. And that's the key. People are still coming out. I don't care if it's one person I'm performing in front of. I'm going to make sure that I perform like there's 1,000 people here because that's how you get better. If you're going to throw the 5-person crowd away and, I'm going to wait to do my best stuff in front of 5,000 people, you're not going to get to that. You know what I mean? And so I think it's just respecting each other. And I feel like comics who are professional, respect each other and work hard, you're going to get to wherever it is that you want to be in life because those are the ingredients, honestly.
That's what it takes.
You've helped us in a lot of ways that you don't even know.
No
Like
way.
sometimes even showing up to a spot that's a hole in the wall with your presence and your talent will validate the spot.
Yeah, facts.
And it'll
No way.
allow other people to be like, oh, maybe it ain't that bad over
Hey,
there.
let's try.
No way.
And so
Let's try a
like
little, yeah.
just to see, we remember what kind of like a barren wasteland the Sunset Rooftop could be. And now every single night of the week, bigger names are like, yo, we want to produce our show there. And now it's kind of like the spot.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, to see where it was, to see where it came from. I see all the people there that's like, yeah, this my gym, this my workout room. And I be like, you don't even know the days, man.
Where it's like, you don't know if it's going to be a shootout here. You don't know.
We don't even know if the producer of the show is going to show up.
There. You know,
And
what?
we got to
the
wheel the
bench
speaker
press.
out ourselves.
The mic don't be working half the time. I'm up there doing spoken word. You know what I mean? Like, let me just project and act like I'm doing a Shakespeare play. You know what I mean? But I I love that because
Mhm.
it's a workout. When you have resistance, you get stronger. If you go up in a
Right.
perfect room every time, when you're in a room when people aren't like giving you their
Ooh.
attention, they have something better to do. I see comics melt. They turn on the
I see
audience
that.
and they're, oh,
Like,
you guys don't think
if
that's funny?
everything's not perfect, I'm like,
Oh,
what did you?
they lose it. Or if they're not in the perfect spot in the lineup, I had to learn the hard way to not be married to any spot in the lineup. There's comics who have to be at a particular spot. And if they're not in that spot, like they take it really personal. But it's like I can open, I can close, I can headline. You can put me dead in the middle. I just have to learn to humble myself and not take it personal.
That's
'Cause
where most of
I'm
my
gonna do my job.
opportunities have come from. I'll be like, hey, y'all need a cold open? Y'all need somebody to bite the bullet? And they're
Yeah.
like, you think you got it? And I'll be like, I know I do.
No, I got
So
this
I
shit.
had
Yeah.
a friend that made me feel bad about cold openings. So I didn't know opening was a bad thing because then I went through a season like maybe a year or two ago where a lot of people were asking me to open, and I was flattered. I'm like, oh, that's great, like that's amazing. My husband was like, yeah, that means they love your energy, like you're opening, and then I
Set the tone.
you get to set the tone for the show. So I thought it was a compliment. I didn't know that the openers get looked down on until my friend was like, oh, you can open the show. And I was like, oh, why are you saying it like that? She's like, they usually put the greener comics first, so you can go ahead. And so I'm just like, oh, I didn't know that this was the perception. I did a
Watch
don't
me.
tell comedy show,
Mhm.
and I had a person come up to me afterwards like, you were so great. I couldn't believe that they had you opening. I'm like, so everybody knew this was the shit spot but me. I
Why-
don't
so
care.
none of y'all told me that.
No, but here's the thing: is like I'm going up and I'm gonna give it my all, and I'm not gonna take it personal. If people trust me to set the tone for a show, I'm gonna handle that responsibility and not take it like as a bad thing. But I kind of had to get out of my head where I'm like, oh, this is what people think of me. Like they just want to like have the sassy black girl come and da da da. But it's like, you know what? I don't care. I'm
I'd
gonna
be
do my
like,
job
are
and
you
I'm gonna do
sure?
it well.
Can you follow?
Yeah,
You know
it
what I
was-
mean?
are you sure you wanna? Okay.
Rest of the show
I'll
is
let
not
you-
suck.
I like that because like sometimes you'll open
Mhm.
and then another comedian will go after it, be like, oh, crowd's tight. I was like, well, they was laughing
Yeah.
when I was up there.
I opened the door for you.
That's what I'm saying. I can't keep it open now. I can open it. You got to walk through.
I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of
Yeah.
secret sauce, bro. So at my show, I take who would be the opener
Mm.
for the headliner, put his ass first.
Mm.
So like the person that goes right before the headline,
Mhm.
motherfucker, you're first.
Really?
Yeah, because you want a strong closer, but also you want a strong opener.
You do.
Because if I go up there, I try my best for 10 minutes to get the crowd feeling good. You're not even really opening. You're not the cold open. I'm the host, but I'm also doing 10 minutes up top.
Yeah, as you should.
Now you keep it going. You know what I mean? Keep
It's like
that shit
it's
going,
like a
bro.
relay race, like you're handing off the baton. The shows that I feel like are the best are the ones where it's like it's just a smooth transition. You know what I mean? It's not stop and go, or like somebody
Yes.
crashing the
I get
plane
what
and
you
then
mean.
having to like lift it back up by your bare hands. You know what I mean? And then you set the tone, you get it great, and then somebody goes back up there and then brings the room all the way
Right.
back down. And it's
Right.
like, look, I already did my job.
Right.
There's nothing else that I can do. But it's like the best shows is like when somebody runs a really good relay race.
Right.
And so that's why I like don't tell comedy shows, because it's like everybody's at the same caliber. Like I want to go to shows where I'm crying laughing, and
Right.
there's not enough of those. Even as a comic, I feel like there's not enough of those. I genuinely want to laugh. Like it's my favorite thing to do. And so going to shows where other people in the room are hilarious, it's just I feel for audiences where they're having to sit through a lot of stuff that's not like that.
Right.
Before we move on, I wanted to touch on real quickly, as we were talking about the Sunset Rooftop, Baca's passing.
Oh, word.
I know that you were really close with him around the
Damn.
time that.
Can I be honest? I
Yeah.
want to set the narrative straight.
Okay, set us
Okay?
straight.
I don't know this motherfucker.
Right.
I, like I said, got banned from the Comedy Chateau and was like, hey, I need a new workout room. And I know that there's this guy who does shows at the Sunset Rooftop. And we joke about this all the time. Baca was not my first Baca.
Yeah.
Like I've had a Spotlight O.
not the only
I've had
Baca.
a Michael Q.
Yeah.
I've
had a Michael Q.
This is no disrespect because
Yep.
God rest the dead. But I've said this to him like, hey man, I don't know your real name.
Neither
Right.
do
I know it now. But I didn't learn it until he passed.
Yeah.
Till the funeral, bro.
And when he passed, I met his community of people. I heard his story, and sometimes a secondhand compliment is better than a firsthand compliment.
Mm-hmm.
I learned how highly he spoke of me.
Mm-hmm.
And because most of the time, if he wasn't there, I would just be like, all right, well, we're going to have a mic. I'm going to run it.
Right.
And the crazy thing is, while I was banned from the chateau, and the only place that I'm really working out is the Sunset Rooftop, I'm going to Flappers every single week to do their audition. And I did it 6 weeks straight before the booker Josh was like, well, why do you keep coming here? Like, can you sell tickets?
You're not white.
Yeah. He was like, that's basically what it was. He was like, yo, you're not an open micer. It's no needing us giving you spots. Can you sell tickets? Can you run your own show?
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, give me a date. And the first date that he gave me, Baca was supposed to help me produce, and that was the day he passed.
Yeah. I remember because I went to that show.
Yeah. And so seeing the community of people that we kind of built over, I guess, that couple of months, that was just basically Sunset Rooftop regulars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it was just kind of like, oh, word, I'm part of something. Like, it's not just me. This is bigger than me, and I needed this at a time. So I know that there's other comedians that's going to need this. So I want to keep this going.
Yeah,
Right.
I respect that so much, and thank you for you just sharing your part of the story, because I wasn't quite sure like your connection with Baca, but it's like with me and Baca, like his passing affected me more than I thought it would, because it weren't like we were like super close friends, but he's always showed me love. Always showed me love. Hey, this girl right here, man, she's about to kill it. She's good. Did it always like, DMing me, asking me to come to this spot, and it was no big deal for me to tell him no. Like he would always book me, never took anything personal.
You don't miss him till you're gone. Because then I had to run it after he was gone. I was like, damn, I wish he was here.
I need someone else to take the bullets.
to take the heat, But it's like I know that our community as comedians had mixed feelings about his passing and had mixed feelings about him as a businessman. And I don't want to take away from the people who didn't have the best experiences with him. I just always try to remember or just think about what my relationship is with somebody and not let everybody else's opinions form.
I hated that too.
I didn't.
As the person who took it over, then it was like,
now you're Baca.
oh, well, yeah, you owe me the money then. I'm like, hey, well, he owed me money. And that's all I got for like 2 months. I was like, I don't.
Well,
I
it's
don't
like
know.
the man's not here. Sometimes you get got, I'm dead serious. Sometimes you
What
get
does
got.
Craig Smith say? You can get it from God.
That's what I'm saying. He's
that
a real businessman. He took that. This is a bad joke. When he took it to the grave, he's like, too bad,
Yo, when he passed, I literally my thoughts were, God rest his dead.
Yeah.
He was like, thank you for all the opportunities, and when I die and I go to heaven, I'm gonna need my $50.
Facts. I mean, you'll
need my
need it there.
$50.
So with him and I, we would have, conversations every now and then in between shows and stuff like that. The one time Baca got me is that he canceled a show and didn't tell me. I showed up, this nigga wasn't there. The place was closed. He ain't say nothing. Nothing
He
at
ain't even
all.
know.
He didn't care to inform me.
Wait, I had a show there?
But I was just like, well, that's Baca. I got something to eat and I went back home. And the next time he hit
Got
me
your
up,
ass.
I knew if I needed time and I had a big show to prepare for, I know Baca would never tell me that.
That's the spot.
I know that I always had a place to go up, and no matter who was on the list, he would, make a point to be like, hey, put her up, and then walk out and leave. You know what I mean? So my relationship with him was a good one. I grew up in foster care, and we used to, talk about that, the fact that he grew up in foster care or something like with his family, and
And I didn't learn that until, yeah. And I was just like, because just to even learn how he passed, and then like to learn the hurdles that they had to go through to, prepare for all the ceremonies and all that. And I was just like, oh, word. It humanized the man to me.
Yeah.
That I was just like, oh, why is this motherfucker like this? And I was like, oh, that's why. You just need a hug? Man,
I totally understood. Like
I had a hug.
as a foster kid, understanding his work ethic, understanding and like just trying to get it by any means. Like that survival instinct is like there's a little bit of that in me, but it's like you have to be careful how you treat people, because again, the legacy that you leave behind. But that he had a relationship with Christ. We would talk about Jesus.
I'm
and
getting
every
into
now
the
and
tea.
then.
He was preyed on, okay?
Yeah.
Because I seen
I'm getting into
the behind the scenes after he passed.
Yeah.
Because I was welcome to take that slot.
Yeah.
And I did. And I seen, he wasn't even like, I just thought that he had an idea and was doing things.
Yeah.
He was working for a person who was goddamn, just a janky promoter. Like he knew that he was getting over on people.
He was a shark among sharks, right?
Yeah.
So.
And this guy, Baca's passing changed my life because I got to decide if I was a shark or not. I got to swim and I got to show people. It was a weird thing. Another thing that happened, I'm jumping all around. Another thing that happened besides people saying that Baca owed them money, it was people would be like, yo, since Baca's passing, you've been getting a lot of gigs. Did you have something to do with this? And I was like, what
Like,
the
did you
fuck?
sacrifice him and join the Illuminati?
Exactly. And I was
you know
just
what
like,
I mean?
what
Are
the-
you famous, Sean?
To work at the Universal Bar and Grill and the Sunset Roof, that's what I'm doing?
You think I joined the local Illuminati?
You
bro?
did, yeah.
The neighborhood Illuminati?
Not neighborhood Illuminati.
But being able to have your own, in any sense, I think makes you more valuable. Like being able to, if I'm out of town or if I meet another comedian, be like, hey, anytime you come here, I'll make sure you got time for you, which what Baca would do.
Yeah.
That would be like, oh shit. Not only did he have time for me, but he was a good host while I was there.
Yeah.
I want him to host something. And it got me a lot of opportunities.
That's how I feel like the business and works in general. It's just relationships, you know? You're working with people, and so you have to work with people well. And it's like, Baca's death actually changed my life too, in a way, where it's like we weren't super close, but for some reason, it hit me in that when he passed away, it just taught me, like, we don't have as much time as we think that we do. You know what I mean? He was in the middle of building something. He had plans for next month. He had plans for next week. And I just
He had
saw
plans tomorrow.
He had plans for that same night. And so when he just passed away so suddenly, knowing that the week before he was asking me to pull up to Sunset and now I'm never going to see him again until eternity, like, that affected me in that I'm like, what am I waiting for? Like, today could be it. I'm posting this janky reel. I don't care if it gets 2 likes. I'm starting the podcast today. When Lou gives me the information, I'm going to start it. I'm going to produce the show. I'm going to do this because you don't know when tomorrow's your day. You don't know when God's going to call you home. And it's like, I'm going to pour myself out and give it 110% because you just don't know. And I feel like Baca thought he had time, and we all do.
Yeah,
we all do. And his passing showed me that actually, no, you don't. You like, do everything that you can today. Don't even say I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Like, if I can do something today, I'm gonna do it today.
That's just scary, bro.
Yeah, it scared me.
Yeah.
It really, really scared me. And also to just see kind of actually like the callousness of some people's heart, and that like, well, that's what happens, you know what I mean? Or, you know, he owed me this, he owed me that. I'm like, yeah, but we're talking about somebody that passed away, though. You know what I mean?
I'll joke about my 50.
Yeah, for sure.
I got love for the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You showed up to his
do
mics.
honorable things.
Yeah.
I've seen him stand up to bullies. I've seen him protect women when they were afraid. I've seen him regulate when there needed to be a regulator. And like that's a very stand-up man thing.
Yeah,
like,
facts.
if he ain't gonna pay you your money, he's gonna look you in the face and say, well,
right,
yeah,
right.
Or he's gonna ask you for your cash app one more time.
One more time.
Yo, just send me your cash app while I walk away.
But to me, I'm like, you just gotta be wise, because maybe I just know like street niggas and I just know hustle culture, because it's like, it was just a mutually beneficial relationship where it's
when
like,
you
you're not
said
gonna
that
get over.
before, it made me think, yo, I pray for discernment.
Yeah.
Because as you build those relationships and as you go up, like, I'm starting to, like, me and Lou, we talk about this a lot, where
hey, we can't talk about that.
a new person will be like, okay, I want to get my foot in the door, and I want to use you as like a ground base. I want to use you as like.
Can we talk about it, bro?
I want to use you as level 1, but once I don't need you, now it's just like, oh, word. Like now I can exist in this space without you.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, just using me as, I just kind of, and I'm gonna wrap it up quick.
No, you
but I'll be like, oh, word. I got mad kids.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, I remember, like, you know, and when I see my kids, they be excited, because I'll be like,
Daddy's
I'm your dad. and then I'll be like, yo, I know you're 14 now and you think you can stand up to your dad.
Yeah.
And I love showing them like, hey, I'm still dad.
Yeah.
And they be like, Dad, you're so good. And I'll be like, I know, kid. You can come back home whenever you know what I mean?
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all just get it.
Before we do this, can
Go
I
ahead.
wrap up with a quote just in honor of Baca?
Yes,
The Baca quote, because you mentioned survival, doing whatever you can to survive. I think about this maybe twice a month. and it fucking cracks me up every time. So we were in Austin when we went for South by Southwest.
Yeah.
And Baca was hosting shows, and we had a guy who does music now, but he used to be an actual UFC fighter. Big motherfucker, like the size of a bear. And they were joking around, and he goes, like don't make me like roll you around, beat you up. And then Baca's like, you don't want to fight me. And then the dude was like, oh yeah? And he goes like, Baca said, because I'm like a cockroach, bro. I'll do whatever it takes to survive. And I think about that twice a month. I'm a cockroach, motherfucker.
But facts, though. And you have to be that way in this industry, Like somebody's always trying to get over on you. And it's like what you said, it's like people trying to use you for whatever it might be. How weird is that? Okay, so it's two things. One, it showed me that I'm making progress. And two, it's a very odd feeling to now be in a position where sometimes I feel like, because I've done the work in like getting my branding really tight. I feel like now the Ratchet Christian, it's slowly becoming a brand. And for the first time, like people are...
Bravo.
Thank you.
Yeah, I seen it. I seen it from the beginning.
Thank you. But it's very odd now because now I'm having dealings with people where it's like people that want something from me. And I haven't always had something to give. And it's making me realize like, oh, I have something because people see it. Now I'm having this person wanting to partner with me to do this or to do that. And I'm just like, as long as it's mutually beneficial,
right,
we'll work it out. But it's never going to be a thing where it's like you're getting over on me or you're getting more out of it than I am. It's like if anybody's going to use me, it's going to be me.
Right.
Nobody's going to use me or get over on me or anything like that. But for the first time, I'm just like, either I'm bitter or I'm jaded or I'm just like really guarded. You know what I mean? Because I'm very careful. I know what it is that I have because I see how other people look at it. And that's a strange feeling for me to like have something that people want. As a comic for so long, we're trying to get on other people's stuff. But then when you have something, the dynamic kind of changes. And so my question is like, how do you kind of deal with that knowing that, somebody might be wanting something from
Can I go first?
Yeah.
All right. Like Looney Tunes where so the guy's like chasing Bugs Bunny and then Bugs Bunny, he goes through like a tunnel and then the guy tries to go through the tunnel and it's actually a painting.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. It's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, follow me. Come on, let's go. Bam. Just like, oh, sorry, dude. I know you tried to get me, but thanks for doing my show. I appreciate it.
I've been doing this a while. I know a thing or two.
I think that's why I really just be like trying to pray for discernment because I'm very just like, all right, if you need it and I got it, you can have it. Because I know that I'm going to be all right. I'm not really like worried. But like how you say we don't have unlimited time and to do it now, we've like had a few ideas taken from us. Like we pitched to Nickelodeon. It was called Rock, Paper, Scissors. It was a remake of The Three Stooges. And then maybe like 6 months later, Nickelodeon was like, the new show, Rock, Paper, Scissors. And like, you know what I mean? And it's a good ass show. Like Ron Fun, they got big ass names, John Mulaney. I mean, it's funny as hell. And so we decided, okay, now we got to make this stuff. And I'm an app developer. So my latest app is Game Night for the Grown and Sexy called Kinky Links.
Yeah.
And so we shot the pilot and we got it on a small streaming service. And it came out Valentine's Day this year.
Yeah.
And we did the screening at Flappers. It had 2 sold out shows on Valentine's Day and people really fucked with it. And then I think 2 weeks ago, Netflix released this show where it's game night in a motel for the grown and sexy called Sneaky Links.
Bro.
And it's like, damn, Big Bang, take the bank. But it makes me, it makes me feel like how you said, like, yo, I got ideas worth stealing. This ain't my last idea.
Yeah.
And I'm inspired by you got to have the branding right and your paperwork right.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, I made the app, I made the show, things are copywritten. They not gonna be able to take it from me. But I mean,
dude,
the game is the game. They can pay a lawyer $20,000 to not fuck with me.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
That's incredible though. It makes me think about what Cat Williams has said, when Dr. Seuss or whatever Disney had reached out to him to sue him over the name Cat in the Hat. He was like, damn, I didn't even know Disney knew who I was.
Can I tell you my long con, the long game I've been playing?
No. You too, man. Go ahead.
So Liu Kang is obviously not my real name. I'm not Chinese.
I thought you
Right?
was. This is news to me.
I know,
Go
I
ahead.
get that a lot.
I thought that was your real name too.
There's another comedian with my exact name who's been doing it. He's like 15 years older than me, so he's been doing it 10 years longer than I have. And basically, I changed my name as to not have confusion.
Yeah.
I don't want people looking me up and then seeing someone way more fucking famous than me, right? So I changed my name to Liu Kang, which is a Mortal Kombat character. Now, when Warner Brothers eventually, I'll know that I'm good. I'll know that I'm getting somewhere when I get that cease and desist one.
You're
day.
going to get it,
And
I'm
when
gonna
I
have
do,
you back on when you do. We'll talk about it.
And when I do, best believe I'm going on a fucking press run.
Yes.
I'm not changing my name until it's newsworthy.
Oh, it's gonna be, because if you refuse, it's gonna be newsworthy.
So
Yeah.
Remember, like Gucci Mane had to change his name to
Oh,
Wop
yeah.
for a little bit.
Oh, is
But
that
then,
why?
But then everyone was like, "Nah, that's Gucci Mane.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take his name."
Yeah.
That's
Gucci
I've been
Mane,
peeping
Gucci
game
Mane.
for a minute,
You
bro.
need the people to ride.
I've been peeping the game for a minute, bro.
That's incredible. Like you said, having ideas worth stealing, having, you don't know that you're doing something until people show you that you're doing something.
Right.
Dang, yeah. I don't know if we're gonna get to the Epstein files. This is so much more interesting to me, honestly. Lou, I feel like you.
We did a good job then.
You did.
Yeah, we got you.
You guys are. I mean, it's easy when the conversation flows. I haven't had to look back at my points or anything, so this is amazing. Lou, you last year had like a transformative experience. We could talk about it as much or as little as you want to.
Oh, yeah.
But the last time you had me on your podcast, I'm the Ratchet Christian. I'm gonna talk about Jesus because I love the guy. You know what I mean? And just doing
Good guy,
it.
solid guy.
Good guy, solid. Known him my whole
Solid
life.
dude.
And you and I, we were talking about like, witchcraft, like the scary dream that I had, about like spirit wives, spirit husbands. And then one day you just let me know that you had given your life back to Jesus. How's your relationship with God now? And what was that whole journey like for you? Like,
My relationship with God now is pretty similar to as it's always been. It's just it's more of just like, oh, that was you the whole time. You know what I mean? I'm over here praying to fucking all these different things, being spiritual, whatever. And it's like, oh, you never switched up on me, even when I switched up on you, And so basically, I don't know if I ever told you the story of my moment, but basically, it was Easter of last year. My dad, I skipped out on Easter. I had podcast things to do.
Yeah, you had things to do.
They got canceled. So then I ended up at my dad's house. We were just talking about life. He's been going to church for like 10 years now and everything. And we were just talking about life, and something really like clicked with me. I went home that day and met up with my ex, who's now my girlfriend again, who's now things are getting serious. They've always been serious, but
Yeah.
a different kind of serious. And so he just invited me. He just been inviting me. Same thing with God, bro. Just been inviting me. Same thing with Jesus. Been inviting me this whole time, and I just I'm good. I got it. And I was like, you know what? I'll take you up on your offer. I'm going to church next weekend. They got free In-N-Out.
Yeah.
Give me a burger.
Oh, what church is that? I'm trying to go there.
Yeah, right. And so I went, and just to appease my dad, all that good stuff, just to be a good son, give it the old college try. And as I'm driving to church, I'm just getting just the resistance, bro, just from the enemy just trying to stop me. Oh, but your dad, and you don't even have a good relationship, and blah, 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 and all these things. Oh, but you're this and you're that and this and that. I parked my car and I cried in my car for 10 minutes because I was just feeling really low, feeling super attacked. And I saw my aunt crossing the street, and I was like, fuck, I gotta go inside.
Yeah. She see me already. I can't turn around. Yeah.
So I walk in, and I'm waiting for the lightning to strike. I feel weird. I feel like everyone's looking at me oh, they know, And I get into church. Everyone's happy. Oh, hi, here's some coffee, here's a donut,
Mm-hmm.
fucking come sit with your family. And I remember during the worship, I've always hated worship. Even when I
Yeah,
was a kid,
I used
like
to.
the worship music,
I used to hate
hate it.
gospel music too.
Hate it, bro.
Yeah.
And so I always just thought it was kind of like cheesy, corny, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there and I close my eyes during one of the songs and I just hear not an audible voice, but I hear a voice telling me, why have you been running like from all this goodness? Like,
Mm-hmm.
look at this. You're with your family. Everyone's happy here. Everyone, like, you've been running from so many like gifts that I've been trying to give you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why are you running? And I just started crying. My little brother's looking at me like, damn, like, what's going
Dude's
on,
through
bro?
it.
I had no idea.
That word is getting in him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And since then I just been like listening to that voice, man, trying to follow it as much as I can. It's gotten, it's brought me some good things, it's brought me some hard times, but like it's really just, man, like ever since then I can tell you that it's been the best decision of my life. I have not been led astray
Mm-hmm.
since,
Mm.
and so that's been my journey.
That's incredible. And it's like, as you say it, like your eyes just sparkle. It's like you're just talking about somebody that you love, It's
Yeah,
like you're just
right.
describing a relationship. And it even makes me think about the Bible verse where God says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. Like, God is not going to barge his way through your life. He's not going to kick the door. He's always just going to, ask to be invited in.
Right.
And he's going to continue to pursue us. And so I just think it's super dope that you have let him in.
Right,
And
thank you.
yeah,
Yeah.
you seem happier.
No idea. No.
Not to say that you
Yeah,
were
no
unhappy
idea.
before.
Oh no, I
It's
was.
like,
I was. I was for sure unhappy for a long time.
Sean, I don't know that much about like your faith. I heard you, talk about
Uh,
discernment. Like, what's
I
your
am.
relationship with God like?
I think that I'm a Christian, but
Mhm.
I grew up in a house where it was like every Sunday, we're getting
Mm-hmm.
up for church, we're going to Bible study every week.
The religious
And
kind.
so once I got like maybe 14 and I didn't have to go to church,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of was just like, all right, I'm gonna go when I want to. And I always liked church. Like I was in church plays, like I was a praise dancer as a kid. I'd had
Come on, praise
the white
dancer.
mime face.
You
I
better
was
stop. No, you weren't.
The dead
That's that
president's
anointing.
makeup.
The honk for Jesus makeup. You
But
ever seen that movie?
yeah, so like now that I'm an adult, I really enjoy church. I enjoy some good word,
Mhm.
but I know part of me enjoys it because I do stand up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
do you
a
mean?
good preacher.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I love a good showman in anything.
Yeah.
Like, but like that where I would be getting laughs, he's trying to get claps and amens. I was like, oh, I saw you set up there. Okay,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I enjoy
Crowd
that,
work and stuff. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. I enjoy the aspect of that,
Yeah.
and I very much enjoy studying the Bible.
Mhm.
Like I'm not obviously, I can't read other languages, but I'll watch like a Jordan Peterson podcast where they'll talk about the
Mhm.
Bible in Hebrew language and like what it meant
Mhm.
and just learn lessons of like what tyranny actually is and what these lessons kind of mean in your life and when you are going through a desert and like I really think that a man is only as good as his routine.
Mhm.
And when I'm in my Bible, my life is a lot more smoother. And I can
Mhm.
feel it when I'm not.
Same.
So like how you were saying, why are you running from all these gifts? That's like really struck a chord with me. I'm like, damn, you're right. Like I am.
Yeah.
And I notice that when you know better, it's way harder to do wrong.
Right.
So
Mhm.
like when I study, it's always about something that it's like, yo, you need to get over this.
Mhm.
Cause I'm only knock you over the head a couple times before I punch you in the face. Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
Why are you running?
but I do love the Bible. I don't go to church as much as I should, but I very much I really only like to date women who like believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
Like I've tried, other things, and it's always when I bring up the Bible as valuable lessons or like things that can help, it's kind of like seen as ugh, get that, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
That kind of thing.
Mhm.
Can I close out with a little scripture?
And for a while, I was
would
dating
love for you
witches,
to.
so I had to cut that out.
Oh,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
witches,
That-
but
yeah.
witches love men that are anointed. They like power.
Yeah.
Yeah, facts.
So.
I seen that in one of my friends, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, she's a witch.
Mhm. All right,
I know.
You go
All
ahead.
right. I don't
Close
know.
us
I don't know the exact where to find it in the Bible, but I know that this is what it says. Kind of. I feel like this kind of sums up what we were talking about because I also, as a kid, grew up in a church.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the only place I felt like smart.
out.
You know? But somewhere in the Bible, somebody find it for me, please. It says, "Raise up your children in the ways of the Lord,
Mhm.
and when they get older, they will never stray."
Facts.
So, like, I rebelled for a little bit. I rebelled for 10 years.
Yeah.
I did the witchcraft and all that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's just like I came home, and it's just like I feel like a kid again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Same. I mean, it's like I grew up going to church. My foster mom always made sure that, we were, in vacation Bible school,
Right.
this and that. And,
And you had to be an example.
I was an acolyte. She gave me my first Bible. And it's like I strayed, I stripped, I, was out in the streets. I did all the things. But I've never been alone. God has been there in every season of my life. And it was just about slowing down and being like, what am I going to do without you? Where am I going to go without you?
Right.
Like, you're always there. You're always present. Like, you're my best friend. You're the best thing I have. Like, I'm so lonely when I feel far away from God. It's like when I'm at my best is when I'm closest to Him.
Right.
And to answer your question and to wrap it up, you had asked me about the Ratchet Christian. And I think it kind of sums up all of our experience, where it's like we struggle. It's not perfect.
Oh,
We're
no,
sad.
I've been
we
a
make
ratchet Christian.
you two
same.
are.
My first car, the brake pads was going bad, and another comedian was in the car with me. He was like, "We gonna make it." I was like, "All this purpose in this car."
All this purpose. Oh, I love that. I need a bumper sticker that says that. I mean, that we're gonna leave it on that note. All that purpose in this room. I'm so grateful that y'all have come on my podcast today. It is a full circle moment for me. I feel like full. I feel so inspired, like to just be around you two talented men who hardworking, God-fearing, knowledgeable about the craft, respectful of the craft, going after your dreams. Like, I'm genuinely so inspired by the two of you, and I'm really, really grateful that the three of us are still going after it. And I want to thank y'all for coming all the way to Long Beach.
Thank you.
So-
Thank you for having
We'll
me.
be back. We'll be back for your
y'all will
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
be
for-
back. Make sure that you guys follow them on all of their social media platforms. Do you have a show coming up, right? You want to plug that?
Yeah. When's this coming out?
On Monday or
Monday.
Tuesday.
Okay, so June 14th, this Saturday, I'm having a comedy show in Pasadena. Speaking of Don't Tell, that is our main competition right now for the venue.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so I'm competing with.
We're gonna pray that you get it. Y'all do y'all thing. Pray.
So it's gonna be at Founder Space. Make sure you come check it out. Follow me on Instagram. I have a whole page for it. Lou_and_the crew_ because people keep taking all these good names. But yeah, so go to my main page, Lou_Kang_. I know it's
All
a lot
the
of
underscores.
but follow me there. I have all the Eventbrite and everything. And come enjoy a good show. It's BYOB. Bring whatever you want. We got some vendors. And these are all my friends. It's called Lou and the Crew because everybody is friends and family there, bro. You know what I mean? From the guy that brings the chairs to the guy that sets up the audio to the vendors. Everybody is people that I grew up with that I see that they're trying to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to be a platform for you to do it there.
I love that. Y'all make sure y'all check that out. And then Sean, where can we find you? And do you have any shows coming up that you would like to plug? Are you
Yeah.
traveling?
Juneteenth, we'll be doing the comedy cookout at Flappers.
Ooh.
Ron G's gonna be headlining. I'll be hosting. We got a bunch of funny comedians. And you can download my app, Kinky Links, Game Night for the Grown and Sexy. We done reached over 40 countries. It's got over 5,000 downloads. So shout out to you, Ashmouth, for having us.
Yeah.
And make sure you watch Kinky Links.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And not
That was
sneaky.
Not sneaky.
No. So somebody walked up to me
Yeah.
and was like, "Yo, congrats on the Netflix deal." And I was like, "What?"
What Netflix?
And he was like, "Yeah, I seen your show on Netflix." And I was like, "What?" And then he showed me. I was like, "Oh, sneaky link. Well, Thank you, but that's not me, dog. You know.
Well,
Kinky links from Wish.
the fact that they're not even getting your
I got the
best and
Tubi version.
brightest ideas says a lot. Y'all's
mm.
potential is endless, and I know the next time we sit down on this couch, there's going to be even more amazing things that y'all
Heck
have coming
yeah.
up. And so, thank y'all.
And
You got
I'll be next Thursday. I'll be at your mic. Where is it at? Roxanne's?
it's at Roxanne's. Yeah,
Okay,
it's down
okay.
here.
Word,
Come down
word.
to
I'm
my
coming
mic.
down to Long Beach. I don't live that far. I'm
Yeah.
gonna come do some time. Hell yeah.
Yay! Okay, I'm excited. You guys make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, share the episode, and comment more. You guys are watching, you're subscribing, but I want y'all to share and I want y'all to comment. I love to talk. We love to talk. I want to hear from you in the comments, so make sure that you do that. And again, thank y'all for taking the time to hang out with me and my friends today. Bye.
Hey.